She was here, had to step away. Good evening. I'd like to call the Thursday, June 10th, 2021 Douglas Planning Board meeting to order. Time is 7:30. Tracy's absent for the time being. First thing and only thing on the agenda, 7:30, public hearing continued, Scannell Properties, warehouse and distribution facility for map 114, parcels 3 through 6, Douglas. And Todd, if you'd like to maybe start off and.
Yep. Dude, grab that seat if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Might as well. Turn the camera.
The camera's right there, too. I think
Yeah.
It'll get you.
Right behind you.
Well, actually, it's behind you,
I
yeah.
don't necessarily want to be.
It's only getting the back of you.
So again, Todd Broder on behalf of the applicant, Scannell Properties. We're back with you folks tonight. We have, since we last spoke, we were with Sutton and with Uxbridge last night. So we're on our way with both of those towns to talking about a decision. You're a little further ahead. I think you have from your council a draft of the decision, and really we're hoping to talk about that tonight and any of those issues that might come up. And you really don't have a particular agenda as
Okay.
far as how to attack that.
I think you have something for withdrawal of earth removal permit.
Yes,
Yep.
yep, and I can provide you, if you have a written copy of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, the withdrawal.
So, as you know,
And
we
and the
filed-
only waiver that you're really asking for is about the parking.
Correct.
Off-street parking is the only real waiver, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, if you wanted to take the withdrawal.
yeah, we'll tackle that first.
Yeah, the earth removal,
Yeah.
we figure it's either gonna be a balanced site, or we'll come back to you with more information,
Yeah.
but at this point, it looks to be balanced.
Okay.
Okay.
We request to withdraw that without prejudice in the event that we need to come
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, and do we need a motion and
Yeah,
acceptance
we'll
for
make
that?
a motion that we accept the withdrawal for the earth removal permit for Blackstone Valley Logistics.
Motion made by Ernie,
I'll second that motion.
seconded by Mike Z. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right,
All right.
we want a roll call, or?
I don't think we need one now.
No,
No?
Ayes have
Okay.
it.
All set on
Get back to
the,
normal, yeah.
all set on the withdrawal?
Yeah.
All right, so going to the draft decision.
If you want to do the waiver, if that's,
Yeah.
you want to pick that off. So the waivers regarding the parking, we have parking to satisfy the site in general, but, the piece that's in Douglas would require a certain number of spaces. And there are trailer parks in Douglas, but there's no passenger
Yeah.
or employee spaces in Douglas itself. We have it on the site, but we don't have it in Douglas. So your portion of the building
Yep.
doesn't have the requisite parking
Yeah.
per se, if you don't count the trailer parks, which,
Truck parking.
I mean, it's a very
trailer
understandable waiver where,
You're gonna scare people.
Yeah, that's the site as a whole.
as a whole, you have to look at it as the whole picture
Yep.
and not that little piece of the pie.
Yep.
Which is very understandable.
so that's really the gist of the waiver.
Okay.
And we have that, let's see here. This was,
I think we can just start tackling the decision, going through it.
Yep.
because the
And-
waiver is in the decision, so we'll
Correct.
tackle all that at the same time.
yeah, you can do it now or do it at the same time.
Yeah, do it, go through the
All right.
whole thing and tackle it all at once.
All right.
Procedural history, there shouldn't be anything really wrong with that. Findings,
Yep.
So that one, waivers. That will be,
First page is all right.
yeah. The second page, probably we start, at the bottom of the page is probably when we start getting into traffic at least. Everything else is pretty procedural on the second page, well, page 3 of 11.
Yeah.
So Todd, not to do with findings, the only thing I think this board is concerned is the applicant trying to do anything they can to limit or encourage tractor trails, we don't have the power to do it, then going downtown across that bridge and clogging up our downtown, which is tiny. That's it. Basically, it's the chorus you've heard here.
I think you worked with town council to try to put some wording in the decision with regards to that.
Yes, there,
I didn't mean to jump in, but I knew it was on
no, that's okay.
my mind and the public's mind, probably.
If you look under the section 7, which is decision/conditions.
Yep.
There's a bunch of them, in there, hours of operation, that type of thing, or not hours of operation, but during construction, those hours.
Right.
Yeah, number 13 and 14.
Standard,
All
yeah.
your, probably your standard stuff, right?
Correct.
And you get down to probably 12 being your first. kind of-
Yeah.
That's pinned specifically to this project, so, obviously the northbound left turn lane on Lackey Dam Road, which we've talked about all throughout the project, which is, under the purview of Mass DOT, but it gets some stacking on Lackey Dam while they await the turn in. So that's 12, 13
Yeah, 13's good.
is hopefully the language, I think it's the language right from Rebecca's
Correct.
comments from GPI on those conditions there for the ball on North Street. And then when you get into
good.
14 and 15,
That's the stuff here.
Yeah, called it out.
14's the meat of the, the post-occupancy monitoring and exactly the methodology that Vinod went through. So it's, making sure that those particular intersections are looked at, and again, if we exceed by the 25% for tractor trailers or 10% for vans,
Huh,
then,
there's mitigation here also, dollars.
Yeah.
$250,000 up to that.
yeah.
Now, the only one question I have, terminating after 3 years after full occupancy, is this a facility where,
Where's this, Mike?
I'm gonna,
What line?
1, 2, 3, 4 line on number 14.
14, yeah.
It's within 14.
Got it, yeah.
I'm assuming then this building will be sold and not leased? Right, the building will be sold and not leased?
Well, Scannell has a variety of holdings
Yep.
that they will build.
Do either
build,
or?
Lease, hold, or, anything
Okay.
in between that and where we are right now.
Right. Well, the only reason I bring that up is, year 3, they decide lease or whatever, okay, we're no longer gonna lease this, building's empty, new client comes in. Is there a re-trigger mechanism?
I mean, if you think about
never
the
gonna be
scale of
empty.
this project, this is a project that undoubtedly is going to have
True,
a
but,
pretty significant long-term
oh yeah,
from day one.
but I've also seen big tenants that go bye-bye a year after that they're in the building. That happens every day in American business, we all know it, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's a situation where, I don't know if there was language put in to protect that or
In
not.
fact, it gets, if I may, Brian Winter from Town Council's office.
Yes, Brian.
Please, thank you.
So there's sort of two sort of perspectives on it. One is, the building itself, when you're
Right.
the occupied, and that's the 3 years that you just called out. If you go to the next paragraph in 15, it talks about a trigger when there's a tenancy, 33%.
Correct.
Or more gross floor area. So there's another trigger with more requirements when there's a tenant that comes in. So obviously, those things can happen in different timelines.
Yeah.
So there's a trigger for each one. that is
Okay.
separate.
Oh, so if it's greater than 33, you'd have to let us
Obviously,
know.
somebody who's less than that's a minor tenant. It's not-
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
Okay.
Kind of trigger these concerns, but anybody above that, may in fact, trigger some of these concerns that we have.
Right.
So then the rest of the paragraph, which goes on the next page, page 9. It's
good.
Has very similar requirements. So if you sort of follow through the different steps that they would have to follow. So first you'd get a written statement of the proposed user and traffic operational characteristics. And then if those characteristics exceed any of the thresholds, then the same kind of things have to happen.
Okay,
So it could happen either way.
okay. All
And
right,
that's to address that exact situation where one doesn't trigger it, it's like, well, wait a second. The
right,
trigger doesn't come for 6 years, or what if it,
Right, and that's the whole situation where, and I hope it doesn't happen, but I mean, we've all seen brick and mortar places, stores, granted, this is a warehouse, where this big outfit come in for, hey, we're gonna take it for 10 years. But in 2 years, they get bought or whatever, and all of a sudden, we're moving that operation from here, going into Hampshire. And all of a sudden, now you got an empty building again. Is there another trigger mechanism? I mean, I've seen it and lived through it personally where massive warehouse. See ya, we're going north. And there 1 year, gone the next. So as long as we're protected on that aspect, that's the main.
Seems like
Yeah,
idea.
seems good.
And that's the idea, so
Good.
let's say you get to that 3-year period and you got your one bite at the apple.
Yep.
Under paragraph 14, you didn't study and didn't come back with anything.
Sure.
That tenant or that use wasn't really triggering any concerns.
Yeah.
But then they leave, and now a new tenant comes in. They're not going to be able to say, sorry, you got your one bite at the apple, because we're going to rely on the next paragraph.
Okay.
Yep,
Which
okay.
says they hit 33% of the gross square floor area,
Yeah.
you get a second bite at the apple,
Okay.
essentially.
So it's a check and balance,
Awesome.
really. Yeah.
No, perfect, I'm glad.
Good.
Just to react to,
Yep.
you know,
The 33 is fair.
Yeah, fair. Oh,
Todd, anything else, Douglas specific you wanna, that was added, or that you wanna go over?
So that one is, those two are the big ones, and they
Yeah.
kind of help. They're really for everybody. 16, 17, 18 are all sound,
Sure.
the sound study, impacts in them. We just put those into conditions.
yep,
19 is kind of the concept of trying to deal with your comment over here, and
yeah, Route 16, I like that, yeah.
trying to direct, tenants, contractors, et cetera, to try to limit or avoid that Route 16. The sign issue, which is kind of interesting, and Brian and I were just talking about this before. I did speak with Zachary from Skinnell just prior to coming on tonight, and, interestingly, he said the sign issue, could be a little bit of a problem from a tenant perspective. The likely tenants here are bigger companies, Fortune 100 companies, and they look at issues like this as absolutes. So, the obvious hope is that trucks are discouraged from going to Route 16. They look at it like, well, if one ever goes that way, new truck driver comes in and doesn't know, or whatever the case may be, does that jeopardize our use and our permit? He thinks this one may be a little bit of a problem with a tenant. And we're trying not to limit who would want to come to this site. So his comment to me before I left that conversation was to look and see whether this was something that was an absolute from your perspective, or whether we could remove this because we're doing other things to kind of mitigate that particular
Which
issue.
number you want?
19.
19,
19, is it 19B?
B, 19B,
Mike, it's what you said, that you can't tell these truck drivers where to go, the independents.
No,
I mean,
But,
you can't.
but you can encourage them, and we can obviously place a
yeah.
speed operation situation in downtown or something.
I mean, I see your point, you know what I mean, and even if we put signage or whatever else, I think the big thing is that on that North Street, guardrail's been wiped out 4 times, in 14 months with rigs.
Yeah, I mean,
You know what I mean?
it's certainly wide enough so it'd be driver error, in my
Yeah.
opinion, that would wipe out that car.
Yeah.
Not the fact that-
We do still have that, where they're gonna be monitoring the traffic, where they're saying they're expecting this much, and if more is coming, then they're gonna start looking at mitigating factors and what they could do. So maybe a sign could be a mitigating factor down the road if there is an issue with more
Right.
trucks coming.
Yeah, there's a chance to be reviewed. I think 4 was the number,
Yeah.
and it has to increase by, what was it?
25%?
Vision.
25%?
25%.
Right.
I'm sorry, yeah, thank you.
20%.
The,
Remember your numbers, though. Yeah. So it goes to 7,
Yeah.
and then you're like, who's looking? Unless, are you putting a strip there, like an airstrip that just figures out how many? No, you can't. How do you do it? How do you monitor it?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Brian, what,
Yeah, through town council, any comment on that?
number B?
So, let me just explain all the 19. So I actually added that just to you're talking about here, which is, if you try to just add a condition that says no trucks,
You can't.
it's just not practical, it's just not going to work, and no applicant's ever going to go for that.
Right.
Because they're going to lose their permit if one,
Yeah.
new hire, one straggler.
Yeah, we get it, yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't want to shoot for that. So the thing we try to do is raise, awareness. Everybody needs to know that this is the policy. So education is a big part of it. So that's A. They need to direct their tenants, employees, contractors, anybody onboarding, that's the policy. Don't go that way. B is the signage. So, if they didn't get the package and training or a little piece of paper or something that says, don't do that, hopefully maybe the sign will catch them. C is for some transparency. We want to know who we're working with here.
Yeah.
So if, you see some truck come down, it's got a sign on it, we want to know who to call. So that's C. There was actually a provision in here that we struck, which was a yard marshal. So sometimes when I know that in fact there's going to be a lot, high-intensity traffic, and they're just really, really going to want to go in one direction, the only way to, sort of get a hold of that is to have a guy, an actual employee, a yard marshal, standing there saying, you're taking a right, aren't you? So whenever anybody pulls up. So we talked about that a little bit and thought that might be overkill for this stage. Now, so you get through 19, the thing I want to mention, and this is I think pretty key because these dovetail in. So you get your traffic study. So that's another bite of the apple. So if it's not working, you're going to get some mitigation on that side. And then go down to 25. So I think this is your sort of
Yeah.
backstop on
Correct.
everything.
Yep.
So you get your education, hopefully some education raises the bar, people have, higher awareness, so you're going to get less frequency of occurrences, right? Second one is if you trip any thresholds, you're going to get study and mitigation. Third backstop is 25, which says if all of those things aren't working, they can come back in. You can pull them back in and say, we did our best here, it wasn't working.
Yep.
Let's try something new. So that's why 25 is in there.
So is there a gross vehicle weight on that bridge? Ernie, is there a gross vehicle weight on that bridge?
I'm sure there is.
I think there
I'm not
is.
sure what it is.
Yeah.
So-
Does it?
There can't be, if there is, it would
The
be
bridge has been
posted.
inspected and there's
No,
no
what I'm
problem.
saying is that some of these trucks are full, or could exceed that?
I can't imagine any of these
No.
trailer trucks are going to be any heavier than any triaxle or trailer
Right.
truck that's coming across.
Well,
that.
I'm
They're
just-
coming across that.
Okay, no, I'm just
Yeah.
wondering if at some point, the thing's going to degrade at some point,
Yeah.
and then they're going to lower the gross vehicle weight on the bridge at some point.
It's
And then
not,
they-
it's not rated where it's going to prohibit any truck from coming across it right now.
Yeah.
Wide load, excavators.
No, but it's a
trailers,
question, but isn't that a factor if somehow there's some structural issues? I mean, obviously, if there's structural issues on the bridge, then that could limit temporary the gross vehicle weight, would they have to look at putting a new bridge in?
If
Someday.
If it should be deemed that it's not safe for a certain
Correct.
amount of weight.
Right, I mean, that's,
Post it.
I'm
And that would
agreeing
give
that
no
we
al-
can't control, the only thing that controls anything is that bridge.
I think,
Right, I mean, yeah, they could ticket people for going across it if they're overweight.
Right.
Or what it's
If it's
specifically
posted.
designated for. And that would encourage people to take 146 probably then. They wouldn't even want to go that way because the fines are steep if you come across the bridge overweight.
yeah.
So the applicant's asking specifically for B, if we're open to the signage. I think I would be open to it because I know we do have that backup plan where they're going to be monitoring it for an extended period of
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
And I don't want to scare a tenant from coming in.
Yeah.
Because God forbid, 146 is a
Yeah.
massive rollover, massive crash, 146 is shut down. I don't want them to be worried about violating the decision
Right.
if the trucks have to go around a detour.
Correct. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and we still have that backup of the,
Little down.
No, that's fair. Yeah,
everything,
we got two.
everything's
backups.
being monitored.
After a few times, they're not going to go that
Correct.
way anyway, once it gets all slow in there and clogged and whatever.
So I think that's
So
fair.
any issue with removing that signage in the decision from the board?
Just from my perspective, it's not a legal question, it's
Yeah.
a policy question.
Yep.
So, I mean, the only thing I would ask you is, did we go far enough? Did we strike the right balance?
Yeah.
It seems like you have.
I think with all the education and all the other backups and,
And therefore, you're never going to have to worry about a truck going through
Right,
it.
yeah.
But, that's not the right balance. either.
No.
No,
Yeah.
no, I get
No,
it.
because they're still allowed to go to the Shell station. We can't force them to go. They still can have that option to go get a coffee at the Shell station or anything like that, so,
They can all pick up pizza on the way through and
Yeah.
you know,
stuff.
I don't want to scare them away by if they have to go around a detour, that they're going to be violating the decision, and,
I think Brian's
We can't
added
prohibit
enough.
them from using
Yeah.
public.
Yeah,
I think it's a good job,
We
it's
can
good
better
balance.
encourage them from not coming
Yeah.
to town.
So I think-
We can't prohibit it.
I think that removing the signage should be fine.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think so,
just-
too.
Just as I look at it, and Bernard pointed it out to me on 19A, we may just want to say, you know, where it says, the term of the tenancy to avoid, it says truck travel. We may want to just say tractor trailer.
Yeah,
Truck travel, or,
Yeah,
tractor
yeah,
trailer,
tractor.
yeah.
commercial
yeah.
Commercial
truck travel.
commercial travel.
If they're using the vans and they got
The
commercial
vans are still
plates.
commercial plates.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I would say tractor trailer,
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
you know what I mean, for clarification.
Brian, you can pick that up?
I got it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair. You good with that, Todd?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
good, all right.
Anything else for us, Todd?
No, I think Brian pointed out, 25, which I think, is an effective provision for you.
Yes.
And I think that kind of gets us to the end.
I think you get, Bob, good question?
Let it be known that
Oh, and
he's back.
Tracy, you are back?
Thanks, you can
Tracy,
continue.
joining us at-
Continue on, yeah.
7:51?
All right, this is a open public meeting, hearing. Anyone in the room have any comments, questions? Mr. Manerick?
Bob and Eric, 107 Cedar Street. Town Council, Brian, what was number 20?
Did it jump over a number?
Yeah, I think that was the marshal, the yard marshal,
That we omitted.
that you took out.
You'll have to ask Microsoft about that one.
Maybe it was ransomware.
Yeah.
Good catch, though.
I didn't know if they had my fees in
I
there.
didn't have enough Bitcoin.
In my last comment, I think for Ernie, if the bridge is not posted for a weight limit, there is no weight.
No, right.
Correct.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
And the
the way it
bridge-
works.
So the bridge is not posted.
Yeah.
Can we get a weight limit? I mean, does it
No.
matter?
No.
Can it be assessed?
It's done by the inspectors in the state.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
It'll just happen as it
And if they
happens.
find nothing wrong, then
They leave it.
they'll, yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead, anybody can cross it.
They got enough bridges to
And
worry
any
about.
load that would be considered a super load or super heavy load.
have to get a permit
Is it
and-
designated through an engineering firm anyways to begin with?
Yeah.
Plus, half that track is already on the other side by the time it gets there.
So,
Or down in the hole.
One or the other.
Nobody's trying to bring a paddle boat through here to bring it in Webster Lake again, are they?
Due to speed and negligence.
Well, it looks like you get some people online.
Anyone online have any comments, questions, concerns?
the only one thing, and I don't know if it would be through the board or how it would be done, is if a sign should be placed there with an arrow saying which way is 16 and which way isn't. So they don't end up in downtown Manchog going, where am I?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is.
If they are looking,
Oh,
those 16, right now, as we all know, that there's nothing there.
Yeah.
And somebody coming in, and we all know sometimes the GPS, you're gone beyond this point before
Yeah.
it picks it up. Now, all of a sudden, you're going in downtown Manchog, and what are you gonna do there?
And that's
So
Locust
it's a
Field Bridge.
situation where we're wondering if,
Yeah.
I don't know, it'd be a preventive or whatever, if they are gonna take 16, to show them at least which way 16 is.
Yeah. I thought there used to be a sign there back in the day.
GPS in place, they stay on North Street, and there is a sign that says North Street, I believe a street sign.
Yeah.
but.
Yeah.
But there's nothing that
Nothing
says.
nothing that says Route 16.
Right,
No.
well, that's all I'm getting at, because
I think-
you and I all know is, North Street, I mean, like most major roads, it changes 40 names before you're 5 miles along.
Yeah.
You say 16, you're gonna know, okay, I'm going east or west, once I get on
There's a
16.
long stretch there where there is no Route 16 sign.
See,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just nameless. It goes through town, it's Main Street here, it's,
Right, but all I'm saying
You're
is,
saying
though,
make the
at the
turn.
bridge, I'm
Make-
talking about at the bridge.
yes, I know.
Yeah,
To Route 16 with an
So-
arrow. Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, I think,
Can bring that
would
up
that
at
be
the
Mass or
safety
DOT?
I mean, I
Would that
think
be
that would
Mass
only make
DOT?
sense.
committee. Can't hear you.
Would that be Mass DOT?
Most signage is Mass DOT.
Yeah.
I mean,
But it's not a state road, it's a town road.
It's not a state road, it's a town
It's town
road.
road.
Yeah.
But
So that's why I'm getting at,
State still regulates a lot of speed limits and all
Oh, yeah.
that. They do all that,
a lot of it,
yeah.
but is that something that should be,
I would say
Well,
I would say bring it up to the
brought up.
safety committee, and the safety committee,
I know Rebecca's on with, maybe she has an input on that.
okay.
I mean,
That would help if
does it
someone's
make
lost.
sense?
That would help if someone's lost. I agree, because even if they're trying to make the soldiers field,
Oh, if they get down on A Street, then you're really in trouble.
correct.
We all know that. I mean, they having to go up and take a left and head down by Soldier Field or go down A Street area.
Well, the Cook Bridge.
Now what are they gonna do?
The Cook Bridge, you got problems.
Yeah, in any of those areas, you're in real trouble if you have a tractor trailer.
Mechanics just, I don't know, yeah, he hasn't driven around enough, but it goes like this to a bridge.
I know a bunch of the roads.
Yeah. So if we want to try to prevent them from getting onto those roads, I think
I
the
agree.
positive attitude would be to have a sign at least saying this is the way to 16, and keeping them off them areas.
I know that it is part of the project that there was going to be improvements made at that intersection, so we could just maybe
If-
add that in there.
Yeah, it says signage at that intersection.
Try to get
Yeah.
the correct approval.
Yeah, I think that would
With the
help.
safety committee.
Yeah, I think that would help. Agreed, Mike.
Because the
already
safety
in here?
committee would probably have to bounce it back, just review it, make sure it's
Yeah,
good.
safety committee would-
Yeah.
Can we make sure then that that gets passed forward and is looked at?
Is it not even, is it not in here already?
It's in there.
Yeah.
In number 13,
Talks about something.
it talks about
Improvements.
Signage to
intersection
clarify.
ahead and warning on
Okay.
roads.
It says some warnings and stuff, but to make sure that, to get to 16 is definitely highlighted.
Well, we can possibly add it in there under 13 for that specific sign.
Yeah, intersection ahead and the three-way stop, and then, a sign directing,
Yeah, I don't mean.
To 16.
Yeah, what's one more sign?
Yeah.
To 16,
just an arrow sign.
Yeah.
Okay.
easy enough.
That's okay.
It's fair.
Is that fair?
Okay.
I just want to make sure your local folks, DPW, whoever's doing that.
He's right.
I don't want to step on their toes as DPW.
It would be the highway superintendent, police chief, and it's, like I said, the safety committee, that's right.
By-
Yeah.
yeah,
They'll have to
that's
probably
approved by the safety
For the safety
committee.
committee, they make
Okay.
that decision now.
Yeah.
Is there a conflict between the state and the town?
No, there's
I
no
mean, but
conflict.
there's no, right now, there's no Route 16 sign
Yeah.
anywhere on Main Street. I mean, you gotta be leaving town almost before you see a Route 16.
I'll pass the fire station there up at the intersection.
Yeah,
It says
Main
16.
Street is Route 16, so.
No, I know,
But
They don't have to tell you on
all I'm
16.
saying is, there's a large stretch of
that
that
has no sign.
road
Yeah, you're right.
that is not, there's no sign on it.
Correct.
There used to be more signs there, Mike.
There used to be
There
more
used to be.
signs.
There used to be a few more
It seems,
signs.
always seems strange to me that you're driving along and all of a sudden you think, am I still on Route 16?
Yeah, yeah.
There's not a sign for miles.
Yeah.
That's an issue that can be brought up with the safety committee also, that we
Yeah.
need more signs
Just a
for
few more.
16. But I don't see the problem with putting a sign at the intersections with an arrow saying Route 16.
Yeah, to
this
keep
way.
them out of heading down towards Man Drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be coming by my house, then I don't want to.
So the sign's getting put in.
Yeah.
Stuck on Grove Street.
Spike strips are going up there.
Did we go line
Anybody
by
online?
line?
Pretty much a lot was just
Yeah, we,
procedural stuff. Went over all specific stuff
Okay.
towards us. Took care of the waiver. Or,
No, we
oh,
won't.
yeah, we will take,
We haven't
yeah.
voted on it yet, we'll put it all together.
Okay,
But we did talk about it.
Yeah.
okay,
We voted on the earth removal
Yep.
request for.
okay, good.
Yep,
Withdraw.
so that's all set. I mean, the first half of this is all of our standard
Yep.
stuff.
All good stuff.
Approved by town council?
The only thing that I haven't seen in
Approved?
here
Okay.
is,
Even better. Even better.
and maybe I missed it, on the occupancy or whatever, that this is planning on being a 24/7 operation?
For hours,
Does that need to be in here
hours of operation.
It doesn't say it specifically.
anywhere? Should we or not worry about it?
We typically do have,
Normally,
it does put
we
hours,
have our construction hours, but I'm saying once it's up.
hours of operation. Yeah,
We usually-
part of-
Normally, we'll have that, and I didn't see it.
It's going to be 24/7, I would think.
Yeah, it's gonna be 24/7.
Todd, how many roughly
That's fine, if
jobs,
it's,
I'm sorry?
how many jobs roughly would be out of this facility?
I know we have it somewhere. Does anybody?
Saying
350?
Talked about in the neighborhood of 300 jobs.
300 jobs? Okay.
can't fill it, can't get
Okay.
people. The way things have been going, I'm only kidding.
We hope.
Should that be,
I know.
should that be added in?
It's like all these industries have been,
I think we should clarify something if it's not.
Yeah.
There's nothing at all, like,
Nothing in here.
the construction side of it is all taken care of,
That's
but
the most, sort of.
that's standard.
I would put it.
Just so it's written in
24/7
there.
in there.
Agree.
But where
But
they,
you don't want people 3 years from now to be debating, what do they mean?
Correct.
So
Right.
that's what you-
Right, right.
Just say it.
and we've known in our tri-town meetings that it's been brought to our attention, it is gonna be 24/7,
So let's
365.
just write it in there. so
We
that-
should have it in there someplace, I would
Yep.
think,
Yeah,
that's stated.
yeah, no, that would
I
only
mean, you
help.
do have that silencing between 10 PM and 5 AM of any discharge, well, just
Just from one area,
where the trucks come apart, you know, they go,
but just
All
on
right,
one
where
side
are
of the
we
building.
One side of the
inserting
building, yeah, I saw that.
Where are we inserting hours of
Let's put it on number 20?
Number 20.
Since we don't have it.
Number 20?
20 hours of operation.
There you go, number 20. Hours of operation.
Are permitted to be 20.
After occupancy.
After,
After occupancy.
Done a leap
After,
year.
yeah, after occupancy?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Except all major holidays.
Yep.
365.
365.
I mean, otherwise,
yeah, otherwise, a lot of that was just procedural.
Okay.
You have food trucks going over there? The little, the little sandwich trucks, do they do that? Not that I'm looking to go,
Like the.
but you hear that horn, but 5 AM, you hear that horn go,
I don't think Todd's out there at 5 AM. He's doing board meetings with us.
Okay, you want to call for the waiver if we're done reviewing the draft?
is
Yeah.
there anybody online or anything? No?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I made a request for that.
We've been entrusted with the decision.
Yeah, it's come a long way.
So
Waiver for
actually,
off-street parking? Waiver for off-street parking, the only waiver request?
yes, that's the only way, that's it.
It's here.
Now, the only thing I
Close the
didn't,
public hearing and do the waiver, or we can do the
no, we
waiver.
can't close the
Either
public
way.
hearing.
Huh?
We can't close the,
Yeah, because it will end up having to be continued to, are you trying to get us on as a tri-town again?
It's entirely up to you.
Okay.
We can vote on our own thing.
the,
I didn't want to tell you to go ahead and vote on it, but if you wanted to vote on it, that
But the other boards haven't voted yet. They haven't.
Yeah, but this is just us.
this is just,
Yeah, that's us. I'm okay with
It
leaving it
makes
away.
sense.
Town council, I see you have a comment?
Whatever your pleasure is, we can do. So if you'd like to see a final, keep it open, we'll tune it up, we'll make these changes, return it to you, continue it to the tri-town at the next meeting. You could do that. And then you can.
'Cause I think we're
you have
there.
a final
Yeah, the
product
applicant's good with that,
you can
too.
vote on.
Yeah.
And if for some reason, you have another thought, or you learn something new at the meeting, we can make that tweak then.
And you get section 20 in there.
the,
It's opportunity.
I was just trying to save you.
How about grant, can we grant
well, we
the-
all got to meet next Thursday night anyway,
Yeah.
right, tri-town.
grant the waiver and have that much done anyway? but
Yeah.
I have no problem.
With the waiver, we can vote on
Yeah,
our waiver,
I have no problem with closing the.
I have no problem with closing it either.
Me neither.
That's fine too.
Yeah.
but can we close it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're in agreement on the conditions.
Yeah.
Are you all in?
Yeah.
Where the hell is the waiver thing?
Yeah, Dan's just reminding me, we held off on doing a final set of plans with a new date on there. It's because we've just had some rolling issues. So he's going to issue one final set of plans with a date probably, early next week or something like that.
Okay.
So if you probably want to reference that plan set, so that would be one reason.
Yeah, that needs
All right,
to be
so-
before
so
us.
let's leave that,
To
yeah.
stay open
Open.
because it hasn't
Yeah,
been
okay.
submitted
In that-
yet.
in that case, we'll
Close
Well,
the public hearing.
Yeah.
Can't
We can make a motion, though, to accept the waiver,
Yeah, we can grant the
Yeah.
waiver.
and then at least that's done.
Yeah.
So
We
that
don't have
next
to-
week, when we go, we'll have a finished format, then like Town of Douglas make
At the-
their
at the
vote,
final
Town of Sutton
plans.
does their vote, and you'll have ours already,
5 minutes doing a roll
Correct.
call vote through.
yeah?
And if Dan would have got the plan updated earlier, we could have had it done tonight.
All right, yeah.
I got one, before we do, I got one thing though on the table here.
Which one?
Thought I saw two different numbers. For the the waiver.
So we do have a meeting on
The waiver?
next Thursday?
We
Yeah.
did,
It's on
At
it,
7 or 7:30?
7.
7, that's the tri-town.
It's right here.
See here, though? Waivers,
And then we got
section
one on
that,
24.
we got that,
Reminder.
this.
Our regular ones.
Not in this book.
Off-street parking.
So we got Thursday off this month.
What section they plan?
It's all good, Jake.
Off-street parking.
Yeah.
But that's that
Oh,
section.
yeah, okay, on the one notice, it's got it as
We have two different numbers here.
5.1.2, and then on the application, it's got it listed as 9.4.4.3.
Yeah.
On our waivers, yeah. We have two different sets of numbers.
I mean, we'd have to go by the one that's on the application, not the one that's in the numbers, so
Or the
which one is
note.
it, what is it?
So one is the table and one is the section.
They're different.
Okay, which one we're gonna go by?
Well, I think it's probably both, but it says, this is requirements in section 5.0. Written evidence of compliance with parking. So they're just requesting that waiver from that section 5.1.2.
And then the table happens to be within the
Okay.
section.
Right, so the-
5.1.2, so we're not gonna worry about section 9.4.
That's site plan approval.
Okay,
Yeah, okay.
That's the section for site.
so we're not gonna worry about, okay.
I
So-
think it's fine, I think
Yeah.
the decision is fine, the way that it is.
Yep.
So we need a motion to accept the waiver request?
Grant the waiver.
Grant. Waiver request for off-street parking, 5.1.2.
Is that your motion?
That is my motion.
Motion made by Mike Z, seconded by Ernie.
Okay.
All those in
Second.
favor?
Did you second?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, okay. Aye.
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 Excellent.
Votes unanimous.
So that's done.
So
And motion to continue the meeting.
Thursday,
Make a motion that we
7 p.m.
continue the public hearing to, when's our next meeting?
June
17th.
7 o'clock.
Tri-town.
Yeah, the tri.
At 7 p.m.
At 7.
Town meeting on June 17th,
Yeah, it's
7.
7
June
PM.
7th.
7 PM.
Oh, wait, July 7th.
No, June.
At 7 PM. Yep.
July.
June 17th
17th.
at
okay,
7 PM.
Yeah, okay, so moved.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Perfect.
Okay.
So just logistically, that's going to be, all of us on Zoom, you'll be probably in here, but,
Yeah,
Just like we've been doing probably.
Yeah.
yeah.
because I didn't see a link for today's meeting.
I put it on the calendar online. It
Okay.
was a
Maybe it
little
was buried
mishap.
somewhere.
We'd like to have you in the room.
I was
Wasn't on
coming
the
here anyway,
agenda.
so.
Yeah.
We'd like to have you in the room.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
No.
No,
So
no,
moved.
no.
So moved.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, you guys are all